Hello. Not me, not realizing that I didn't have my camera, like the cover on your camera slid open. I mean, just realizing that. Um, Hello. Happy Monday, beautiful. It has been a really, really good Monday. I hope you guys are having a good Monday as well. I also hope you guys really had a good time off if you were able to have a few days off for the holiday weekend. It was really, really beneficial. Yeah, I had a great time. I needed the rest so, so much, and I really had a great day today. Hey, Keela, how are you? Keela, I need to message you so I could catch up on the girls. I haven't heard a good story about my girls in a minute. I need to make sure they're doing okay. And I need to check on you with the girls. So today I wanted to take some time to talk about 6 reasons that I think your self-care journey may not be working for you based on some issues that I had when I first started my self-care journey, as well as some issues that some of my friends have been having on their self-care journey. I came up with quite a few different ideas, but I wanted to narrow it down to about 6 of them because I felt like those were the ones that were coming up for me and the people in my life most often. So if you see me over here, very good, Keela. Very good. So if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at my notes that I have written down. I told y'all I decided that I'm gonna be a professional YouTuber this year. So I'll be making notes on my videos, especially when I go live, because I get so reckless when I go live, just like I'm reckless in my regular conversations with my girlfriend. So I have some notes over here just in case you I picked up the legal pad from Gold Mining Cocoa, and I just love it so much. And it has such great quality paper in it. So I picked it up and I love making notes in here. I use this when I get ready to plan to brain dump, but also when I get ready to make notes for my video. So the first thing that I really want to talk about, which is what I knew was going to be the biggest issue for me in my self-care journey. I am very much a people person when I'm in my circle. Like I love my friends fiercely. And my primary love language is quality time. So quality time is something that I love to receive, but I also really love to give it. Because of that, I had spent all of my life very much giving a lot of quality time. So the very first thing that I knew I had to do was to make sure that my friends knew that I was going on this journey and that I was taking my boundaries a lot more seriously. So one of the first things that may be stopping you from your self-care journey is that you are still trying to keep up with the same life that you had before. You are afraid to lose your friends. You don't want them to know that you're going on this big journey, and you're just concerned with what they think or what they're going to think of you when you go on this journey. It has a little bit to do with people pleasing as well. I definitely was a people pleaser. For sure, I am not much now. I don't care what people think, feel, or say much at all now, but it was something that I knew I had to really prepare everyone for. And specifically, those people who I gave my time the most freely to. I have a cousin that I was very much gave my time freely to, and a really, really good friend that lives here in Nashville. And so at the end of 2019, I told them both that 2020 was going to be the year of nothing. Little did I know it was going to be the year of nothing for a lot of people, the world. But for me, I was like, this is going to be the year of nothing. And they laughed at me, they made fun of me. And then when 2020 came, of course, it was the year of nothing for everyone. So then when 2021 hit, those same two people were like, so what's the motto for the year of 2021? I was like, it's the year of nothing. I'm gonna do even less in 2021 than I did in 2020. And they still have a problem with it, honestly, but I don't care. I do not care what they think. Hey, Camille, it's nice to see you. I don't care what they think about my self-care journey. One of the things that really helped me get over what others thought of my self-care journey was the amount of pain that I was in. I had friends who helped me for sure. The two I'm talking about in particular were a huge help to me when I was going through 2020 and having my surgeries and doctor's appointments and things like that. They were a huge help to me, but they still weren't living in this body. They still had no idea just how much pain I was actually in. So I just had to let them know just that you guys have no idea how much pain I'm in. Therefore, I really just can't care about what you guys are saying. So when you stop caring about people pleasing, and when you stop caring about what everyone thinks of you, your self care journey will actually take off to heights and limits that you didn't even know it could be. So that's number one. Your self care journey may not be working because you care what other people think of you. Get over that real quick. The second thing I want to talk about is you think that caring for yourself is selfish. It is. And it also has to be. Because if you don't care for yourself, who is going to take care of everything that you have to actually take care of, right? So you have to selfishly block off time to rejuvenate, refresh yourself so that now you can go and take care of the kids, take care of the husband, take care of the job, take care of the home, and at my age, potentially take care of your parents. Or it doesn't really matter what age it is. You sometimes have to take care of your parents. How in the world are you going to do all those things? I do find I do find that sometimes I feel that Christian women have a little bit more hard time with this than anything else. And recently I came across this video by Joyce Meyer. So I'm not a fan of hers. I never really watched a full video of hers all the way through. This happens to be a video about her, and she was like in a panel where she does a podcast. And I have linked this particular video in the description box below so you can take a look at it for yourself. But in this video, there was, I'm going to say, a total of 5 women all talking about how they view self care and all the things that I'm kind of telling you about today. And one of the things that Joyce Meyer said that I found was interesting, she was like talking about her own self care journey, about how the last time she got really sick, she had severe adrenal fatigue. And her doctor told her that she had to be out for 18 months. And she was like, well, what does a person do when they're off for 18 months? Like, what do I do? She was like, I'm a human doing, I'm not a human being. So what do I do for 18 months when I'm off? But she said she was so sick that she had no choice but to stop and take care of herself, and how she really had to focus and know that in order to continue her ministry, which she felt like was God's work, she had to do this. And the other women in the panel started chiming in and talking about how they really felt about when it's time for them to take care of themselves. Some of them were moms, some of them were divorced. One of them is even going back to school to get a different degree. Even though she already had one, she was going back to get another. And she was talking about how she has to hold all these things, but then she also has to let some other things go in order for her to be able to continue on to her journey. So she had to be selfish. She had to take time in order for you to do all the things that you want to do, regardless of what other people around you think, regardless of what we were just saying before. Number one, you can't care what people think. This one lady on the panel was really felt like that if she wasn't doing all the things, that God wasn't pleased with her. You can't, no. No. If you can't worship God in their case, or if you can't continue to go out and preach about God or share God's word because you're too tired, you're too fatigued, then what really is the point? Like, how are you actually being used if that's the case? But there are also non Christian women who feel the same way. And people always say, well, self-care is not selfish. I think it has to be a little bit for you to block out the time that you need to be able to really selfishly and outrageously care for yourself, then you can go out and do other things and care for other people. So you can kind of look at it the way you want to look at it, but I think it's selfish. And I think that's the best thing about it, that I get to take care of myself in this time. So now that I'm able to take care of others. So that's number two. So, number one, you care what other people think. And number two, you think self care is selfish. So, number three, I want to talk about this a little bit because I find this one the most interesting. I find a lot of times, especially when you have people share their self care online, that they really feel like it's about capitalism and about luxury. I don't think it's about capitalism, but I do think it's about luxury. To be able to do what we talked about in number two is be a little bit selfish and block out time to really take care of yourself. That really is a luxury. For me, right now, I don't have a consistent man in my life. Let's just put it like that. I date, but we ain't booed up with nobody. So, and I also don't have any children. So I still would find myself very busy because, like I said, quality time is my primary love language. So I have like a bunch of friends that I like to spend time with. So for me to be able to say no, sit in my house, relax, have something beautiful to drink or something great to eat, put on a movie, and just sit here and be quiet and be still, I fully believe that is a luxury. That is a luxury for me to do. It's not a monetary luxury where I'm out at a spa, I am having Pilates, or I'm having a facial, or I'm eating on somebody's rooftop. It's not those type of luxurious things, but to have the time to care for myself and really take good care of myself is about luxury. Now, if all those things I just mentioned, spas, facials, going out, Pilates, all these different things, if you are able to do that and that makes you feel that your self care is worth it, then go ahead and do it. But I do want you to consider number four, which is you also have to do some inner work, right? So I think the hardest thing that people have a time of the hardest time with is kind of being still and sitting with themselves, right? One of the ladies on the panel that I was just talking about in that Joyce Meyer video, she's like, she was a mom, she's a mom, and she sent her daughter off, went with her dad for a week or however long, and she went to the grocery store. But when she went to the grocery store this time, she was only buying food for herself because her daughter wasn't going to be there for an extended period of time, and she talked about how she literally didn't know what to buy herself. She didn't know what she even wanted anymore. You have to sit with yourself and know who you are and your self care journey to be able to be selfish. Take the luxury time to do it and not just focus on the capitalism or not focus on Instagram or what you're showing other people. And if you're not necessarily on Instagram, like telling all your girlfriends what you did, my friends often ask me, "What are you going to do for the weekend?" I'll tell them nothing. And they must like, "What you going to do for your birthday?" I'll tell them nothing. But the truth is I absolutely always have something planned. And the thing that I always have planned is to do my inner work. I want to sit with myself and know what's most important for me on the weekend. This past weekend, the weekend right before Thanksgiving week, it was so important for me to rest my body because my pain kicked in a little bit because I was so busy at work. I had to sit still with myself. And also, while I was sitting still with myself on the weekend, I figured out some issues that I've been having. Same exact thing happened this past weekend. I put my phone on airplane mode. There was an issue, a situation going on in my life that I really need to take some stock in and look at. And I sat down, I did a lot of journaling, and I did a lot of inner work. I came up with some answers and some conclusions and some solutions that I do plan on implementing for the rest of this week and for even longer. But you're doing the inner work to know that you are so worthy, which is number five. Doing the inner work to know that you are worthy of taking this luxurious time for yourself to be selfish, not caring what other people think, and caring for yourself is extremely important as you go through your self care journey. You're going to have to know that you are so worth the therapy. You are so worth sitting on the couch by yourself with just a tea and a good book, listening to yourself, journaling with yourself, and knowing what part of this self care phase that you actually need to be in. Because I firmly believe that this self care is seasonal, right? Right now, for me, it is outrageous self care. Later on down the line, it may just be a little bit less outrageous. I may need a little less alone time. I may need a little less luxury. But right now, it is go mode with the outrageous self-care. For you, it could be just a little bit. Yours just needs to be maybe once during the week, once on the weekend, or maybe just twice a month. So, whatever that is, you have to know that you are worth taking the time for yourself to care for yourself in whatever way it needs to be. Sometimes for me, my self care is actually going to Memphis and seeing my cousins and also seeing my really good friends and nieces and nephews. Sometimes it's painful for me to drive in the car. It really is. So when I go, I don't like to necessarily do turnaround trips, even though sometimes I really do. I like to stay at least 1 to 2 nights because it does hurt to be in a car all the time driving. So sometimes I just need little hugs. Sometimes I need a little kiss. Sometimes I need a red cup full of some. Sometimes I do. So in those moments, I have to just like, okay, I need to go. I need to see the family. I need to get some real hugs. I need to get some real kisses. And then there are times I need to put this phone on airplane mode. I don't want to talk to nobody. I need to sit here by myself and know exactly what it is that I need. Hey, poo poo, you're one of the cousins that I need to see and need to hug. I love you too, babe. I absolutely need to take the time for myself to do that. So, number six is I want to talk to you about is why your self care journey may not be working for you. I think sometimes people's self care journey is not working for them is because they are not willing to receive. So, if I'm caring for myself a little bit more, in my case, if I'm working on getting myself out of pain, one of the things that's really difficult for me to do is to bring my groceries up the stairs. I live on the second floor, and you go to Target, especially you buy your house supplies, all these big bulk items. They're a little bit heavy. You come up the stairs, and I can never do it in one trip. I always have to make more than one trip. That literally wipes me completely out. One of the ways I receive is I have it delivered. Tip somebody and pay a service to have them bring the groceries upstairs. When I was going through some of my surgeries in 2020 and 2021, I needed additional help, like for things around the house. Like I really needed to change my bed sheets one day. So I called a girlfriend. I was like, hey, can you come over here and help me change my sheets? She was over here an hour later. It took her less than 15 minutes, got the bed done, and I felt like a new person. Asking for help and then receiving help. I was thinking about this one because this one's hard for women in a lot of different areas, a lot of different reasons. We were definitely taught to be strong. We were definitely taught to be equal to. So a lot of times we just are not willing to receive help because we don't want anyone to see us as weak. Well, there are some things that everyone has strengths in, and there are some things that everyone have weaknesses in. It doesn't make you any one way or the other. So I was thinking about all the different superheroes, right? So y'all know how Batman had Robin. Batman is a superhero and he still receives help from a sidekick. Y'all know how the Black Panther had his sister. I can't think of anybody's name right now, and I haven't seen Wakanda Forever yet, but it's definitely on the list. But he had the Dora Milaje, the female warrior. So even the Black Panther wasn't by himself. Is there a superhero that didn't have because even though doesn't Thor have like his hammer? Like he's not doing it all himself, even. Like even these mythical characters that are the strongest, most valued in the what is it, MCU, the Marvel universe, they also always receive help. Even the what's the Robert Downey Iron Man has like the lady who helps him with all this stuff. Like no one is really out here doing it by themselves. So I find that people suffer in their self-care journey is because they think that they're supposed to be doing everything by themselves. But when you kind of sit down and be still and be quiet, you really get to learn what you actually need from yourself and from others around you. And then you can actually feel better, begin to allow yourself to really heal and really get to a place that you need to be. Those are the six things that I have found on my self care journey that have been a little bit of an issue for me, and also with talking to other people, how it's a little bit of issue for them as well. So I'm going to go over all six of them again. So number one, you care about what others think. You're afraid to lose like certain types of relationships. I didn't touch on that too much, and I'm really not going to. But I'm going to say what I said the last time. The people who are supposed to be in your life will always be there. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. They're just going to always be there. So those are the relationships you're just supposed to be in. So number one, you care what other people think. You think caring about yourself is selfish. You think that it's really about capitalism and luxury when it kind of is, but when you reframe those two words or give those words a new definition, then I feel like your self-care journey will begin to kick in and work a little bit more. And then you're not willing to do the inner work. I legit had a friend one time tell me, we were talking about a really deep subject and she was just really going through and struggling, having a hard time. And I was like, what did your therapist say? She was like, oof, I stopped going to the therapist, girl. It got too real. I was like, girl, I'm a secretary. You can't be putting all this stuff on me. You need to go get you some professional help. So you have to be able to really do your inner work. And also, you don't feel that you're worth it when you are the most valuable asset that you have. Your physical personal body, your mind being in a good place. You are the most valuable asset that you have. So you're 100% worth it. And then you're not willing to receive help, learning that you don't have to do everything by yourself on this self care journey. Like I said, I live by myself, don't have a regular boo, don't have any children. None of my family that I'm actually close to live in the city that I live in. I have to kind of travel about 6 miles to get to my 6 miles, 3 hours to get to my closest relative. But I have completely created a family dynamic for myself here in Nashville, and I always have help. I had COVID at the beginning of October, and I didn't like put the call out like saying, "Hey, I got COVID," because I didn't necessarily need anything because I am an expert at working Amazon. So I didn't really feel like I need anyone to come over and bring me anything. But I kind of texted with a couple of people. They were just texting me to say hi anyway. I let them know that I had COVID, and they were each like, "What do you want to bring you? What can I bring you? What can?" And I was like, if Amazon and Shipped and DoorDash were not real things, then I would need y'all all to come over and do something for me. But I was able to do it and I was able to be okay. And I just want to give you a little bit of tip when it comes to receiving. The easiest way to I learned how to receive was when my therapist told me to always ask for what I need. This is professional medical advice. Always ask for what you need. And that came specifically during the pandemic when I couldn't find any toilet paper. And I was just like, okay, I only have one roll left. I only have this many like facial tissues left, like tissues to blow your nose with. I only have this many coffee filters left to find some toilet paper. And my therapist was like, why didn't you tell you? Because when I got on the Zoom call that day, my director of my company was like, Tracy, you should just taken some toilet paper out of the bathroom. I said, okay, if I go back to the office and I'll just grab some. And I had a Zoom call with my therapist. She was like, always ask for what you need. You should always ask for what you need. So if you need some alone time, if you need some space, if you need some luxury, if you need to go to the spa, if you need to do your luxurious shopping, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, you're definitely worth it. That is, ooh, wow. That is all I wanted to discuss with you guys today. I didn't want to keep you very long. I probably will go live next week because something else I wanted to talk to you about is a little bit about what we talked about last week. Now that you know how, because sometimes I get questions about how are you doing your self-care journey. You like almost no one's ever asked me, don't you feel guilty? But the questions were very much alluding to that. Or sometimes people just allude to it's easy for you because you don't have a spouse and you don't have any children, like you don't have any responsibility, but that's not always necessarily the case. So I wanted to Aw, you're welcome, Camille. I wanted to kind of have this talk with you before I kind of go back into what we discussed last week when I was talking a little bit about my journey and my affirmations and things like that. And I told you that one day I would come and talk to you about some of my affirmations and some of kind of the health things I was going through and why I felt like I was going through those things, which is what made this self care journey so important for me and so much needed. And another thing, too, you guys, when it comes to this self care journey, I am just a baby. I am just a little baby beginning in pre daycare. Like, I don't even think I'm in preschool yet. I've been on this self care journey, I'm going to say since 2020. I want to say around February 2020 when I quit my second job. That's really when my self care journey began. And I am still so new, so fresh at it. But these are just a few observations that I've made. Oh, great. You're welcome, Siobhan. Thank you for being here, Siobhan. I really appreciate it. Oh, poo poo. Oh, I love that. Poo poo, I just think this because you're used to me, because you've known me literally your whole life. I think that's why that, but we still need to plan our weekend together. We really still need to plan our weekend together because I miss you. I miss you very, very much. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, look, yay. We kept it at 26 minutes. We didn't go over 30 minutes. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will let you know. I probably will do next Monday at 6 o'clock around the same time. This really happened to work for me today. So let's try it again next week. If you guys are up to it, I am willing to share with you some of the things that I've been going through lately. And if you have any questions, always leave them in the community tab. I'll make a post later this week so you can ask any questions with, or just let me know here in the chat on what you would like to talk about. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Maria. Very, very happy. Very happy. Very happy that you all were here. And I will see you in our next video. There should be one up Saturday. I haven't filmed it yet, but I have an idea. I love you guys. I hope you have a great evening. Bye, beautiful.